Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining me here today. Today, I want to talk about a case study. There was a client that was referred to me in helping transition to the classroom. This child is a kindergartner having difficulty joining the class, staying in the class activity, and sometimes running away or refusing to do a task. Again, this is a kindergartner with Down syndrome and other learning challenges, some speech delay as well, and unfortunately, we don't yet know the level of comprehension yet, and the teacher doesn't know the comprehension yet. So the case was mainly about how to help this child even participate. So I talk about having a more of a holistic approach when it comes to any case that you're working with. And before we kind of push our activity, exercises, what the child needs to do, we first need to actually engage with the child and have some kind of rapport where the child feels like they understand the task or they know what to do. So with this child, as I said, that there was no official assessment done. This is a part of a classroom consultation. After I observed the class and with the child, I was thinking about like, okay, how do I approach this child? How do I get to the child's level? Because it's really important first before we start to have the child work on the activity that we provide to them. First, we have to get to their level, understanding and making sure that we kind of present the activity or the idea, the concept in their level. So what I've done, and I'm going to share with you here too, is before we even start anything, is really observing the class and figuring out what the child likes. One of the things the child likes is, imaginary play. She likes to pretend to want to be a superpower, or like few things that from the teacher can tell me a little bit about this child. And after that is what I did is just create a story. I created a story and tried to resemble the child's, the images and the way that the child feels like they can understand. So it was really a trial and error. And however, I'm finding this kind of approach being more effective with the clients that I'm trying to engage and even help them understand some kind of concept. So I'm really getting really into storytelling with the little kids as well. And instead of, teaching them a concept, how can I teach them a concept by writing a story? And social story, you probably heard of it before, how to, using a social story to help kids understand what's happening. It's pretty much that's what it was. So I found after I wrote this a little bit story and then presented it, put a little bit of images in there, and have the child likes to sit and read. Again, the teachers don't know how much of comprehension this child has because she doesn't actually actively read out loud, so they can't really know yet. They still need to do assessment, but even for them to do an assessment, they need to have a cooperation first. So we really like in a lower level stage. But what I've done is after watching the child like in the corner, not listening, staying in her corner, reading her book. So after I created the storybook, and I just went to the child and said like, hey, you want me to read you a story? And she was so excited. She's like, yes. And like, how about we read outside? So I took the child and read her my story. And in the story it talks about, I'll read to you here too as well, and then show you what the story is about. And it's to help her to engage back into the classroom. The idea is like she will get her back to initiating, understanding the concept, and go back to the classroom and use this her superpower. So this is what it looked like. And if you like the story, we can have the link down below for you. You just can get the link yourself, and you can use it. You can modify it, change it up, whatever works. This is exactly for what kind of we need for her to do in the classroom, and then you can always do what works for you. Okay, so I just named it as getting ready to learn and play. And then I had her say like, when I get to school, I walk to my classroom, I feel excited to start my day, because some of the thing that she was having a hard time was when she comes at the times that I observed her, she was really shy and not even taking her backpack off and put her in a cubby. So I was just creating a storyline for her to understand about this child. So when I introduced this character, I just wanted her to be in the book. So when you read a book, we identify with the character. So I wanted to see like if she understood the character, she can identify. We talked about the ponytail, if she likes the ponytail, if this little girl looks like her. She was like, oh yeah, she looks, she can, yes, she speaks a little bit that I understand. Yes, I'm not a speech therapist, but she understand, like she said yes, and she liked her ponytail. So we start talking about like this child coming to the classroom, and then goes to like and the first I find my cubby, I take off my bag and I put it inside. Now my hands are free and my bag is safe. So there's a little cubby in her classroom that she can use. And then this is what I came up with for her to identify. I wanted her to understand the difference between ready to learn power and ready to play. We use reflex integration through play. We work through play. We learn through play. So play is really key. We want her to do that. And there are times to just go outside and be silly, kind of play as well. But then there's also differentiating, focusing, and learning. This is what is the challenge in the classroom. So this is how I introduced it to her. And we pretended to put like an imaginary tiara on. And I said, next I put on my ready to learn power. This means I put on my thinking cape and get ready to do my best. I can imagine a special tiara that helps me learn. So we did like an imaginary tiara. So now she's ready to learn. And then that's her superpower. I go to my desk and sit down. I make sure I am sitting nicely with my feet on the floor and my hands ready to work. And this is kind of resembling her class. I listen to my teacher and follow the instruction. I use my ready to learn power to help me pay attention and do my work. When it's time for circle time, I get up and walk to the circle area. I sit with my friends and listen to the teacher. I might share my ideas or listen to others. And we, briefly talked about, I honestly don't know yet how much of this concept she understood yet, but we'll find out. But it's just giving her an idea. Another option is for her, after seeing how she does, is breaking these down into chunks of different stories, so she understands different images for her to identify what these look like. But this is like the first edition of writing it for her and see how she comprehended. When it's time for recess, I put on my ready to play power. This helps me have fun and be a good friend. So here I switched it so she can understand that, okay, there's time that she can do ready to play and then ready to learn. So going outside, then she can play. This is another character because I wanted her to get that concept. Playing with friends. This is the playing with friends. At recess, I play games and have fun with my friends. I remember to share and take turns. If I need help, I can ask a teacher or a friend. So this is what with her ready to play power. And then we talked about the different things. She identified to most of the exercises, like slide, she nodded, she understood, climbing, playing ball. The hopscotch one, she did not understand because she's never done it before. So that was something, that's when I understood, like, okay, she's comprehending, she's engaging with me, she's looking at pictures, and I'm teaching her a concept. When recess is over, I hear my teacher's instruction. I stop playing and line up to go back to class. I keep my ready to play power for later. Before lunch, I wash my hands with soap and water. This keeps me clean and healthy. So still she's in the ready to play kind of section right now for her. And one of the challenge is that she can wash her hand, from what I observed her, and then transitioning her was difficult. So I felt like we need to add this concept in what we're trying to teach her. After lunch, I put my ready to learn power back on. I go back to my desk and get ready for the next part of my school day. I can do all these things every day to have a great time at school. My ready to learn power and ready to play power help me do my best and have fun with my friends. And right after this, I just asked her, I'm like, I said, like, ready to learn power, ready to play. And then I pretty much and asked her, I'm like, are you ready to, go back to class and put on your ready to learn power? And she nodded yes. And she walked herself and told her teachers, I'm ready. And which was very exciting, of course, for me to see that she got it. And this was one idea that I've tried, and with another client as well, and with some other behavior challenges that I'll share with you another time if you want that copy as well, if you wanted to see the story that we've created. And when it comes to emotional regulation as well, that's something that worked in the past. So I wanted to implement it here. And with this child, kindergartner barely kind of have speech delays as well, that she was able to comprehend it when I brought it in that image and with the visuals. So I thought it was very effective, and I wanted to make sure that I share with you that you can easily do this with your clients before we can even implement. So now I feel that, okay, she's comprehending, and I can use images again later on and teaching her how to calm her body, how to do movements. So we can implement now the app and the videos, the exercises we have. They do use the RITP, the Reflex Integration Through play movements throughout the day, and she does cooperate. She does do some of the exercises as well. Now we can work on giving her additional exercises later on, and she knows like, okay, when my body feels this, I can do this exercise, and it helps me calm down. So I know that now we can have this kind of rapport between us. And what really helped, in my opinion, is really studying her, understanding how she engages and how her body feels, and really starting from the place of her level, like where is she at, like how do I make her be more of what happening was. There was a lot of battle of will that was happening. I want the control to be on her terms. I want her to feel like, hey, I'm putting this on and I'm capable of doing this. And whenever I want her to imagine of like putting this tiara on, whichever imagination that you want to use, it can be a cape, it can be anything really. So, but the idea behind creating the story is mainly for her to get the power on her hand, because she's little, she's dysregulated, she's going through a very like shutting down a lot more, running away and sucking her thumb. It was a lot of emotional dysregulation that she was having. So I wanted her to be more of control on her own term. So having her to think through like, hey, I'm putting this on, I'm ready to do it. And then later on, I'm putting on, her ready to play tiara. It's an imaginary tiara. Maybe we get her a real one too, like so she can identify with it. Either way, that was giving her control, and then she can actually transition herself and be able to cooperate and engage with the class. So it was successful. And if you want the exact one, you can go down below and access it as well. Hopefully it's helping you. And if you've tried something, if you try it, please let me know, and let me know and comment below and how it's helping your client as well.